Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host, and I'd just like to mention one thing. My producer, Steve, he got the COVID-19 3 weeks ago, and obviously we were down for a couple of weeks. We couldn't film because of, he does all the filming and he does everything, but he's looking wonderful, he's looking great, and it's so good to see him back again. Steve, good to have you back.
Thank you.
And it's something we all go through. I haven't got it, I haven't had it, and doesn't mean to say I'm not going to get it, but I'm going to do everything possible not to get it. You
Me
too, right?
Yes, me too.
Uwe.
I'm not terribly afraid, but
No, I wouldn't be
Cautious.
afraid at all. No, yeah, well,
Cautious.
I do what I've always done. I've always been cautious out there, but this is Dusty Summers. Now, Dusty Summers is one of the most famous burlesque dancers probably in the world. And, well, not the only one. I said one of them.
Yeah,
One of them,
there
because there's
are-
quite a few out there that are absolutely amazing. And they have incredible stories, like yourself. You have an incredible story. Now,
Thank
you
you.
said that Georgette Dante, apparently you got a message from her to me. I'm wondering what it's going to be, so let's
Well,
clear this out right away.
First of all, Georgette wanted to make sure that I said hello, and I have to thank her.
Hello,
for-
Georgette.
And thank you very much for having me on the show. And it's really, Georgette ought to be my publicist.
Oh, really?
She even called me last night trying to coach me. Get pictures, do this, do
Georgette's amazing, by the way. She's an amazing woman.
Yes, she
But
is.
so aren't you?
She
So
has energy unparalleled.
Yes, she does.
you know.
Well, as you know, I interviewed her, and it was
Yes.
one of my. I just loved interviewing her. She was so natural, and she sort of took charge of her interview, and she took
Yes.
charge of what she was doing. She
Yes.
owned it.
She has
has that power.
big goals and big ambitions, and I've known her for 50 years or more, and she
But
always.
they couldn't know her for 50 years because
Yes.
neither one of you look old enough to be 50. So come on.
But she's always been that way, and she's even more driven now
Yeah.
than ever, And I'm the one that keeps saying no, and they say, "Oh, but you got to."
You've got to
I
keep
do.
it going.
Yes.
So okay, so let's get to your life. So your life as a burlesque dancer. How old were you when you started?
When I first started dancing, I was 18. And I started at a place called Airline Inn, I believe, in Phoenix, Arizona. A working man's come
Wow.
after and have a drink.
Yeah.
And we wore, the owner was a state senator.
Oh wow.
And he was icky too. He used to take his drinks, and he'd stir them with this. He'd hold like this,
Oh,
and stir
stop
it with
with
his
this-
middle, and you just look there and you go.
You can't do that now. That's
Oh,
not with the
it was
COVID
it was gross, but I didn't know anything at 18. And at that time, go-go dancing was on television.
Yes.
You always had go-go dancers on little stands
Yes.
behind the bands
Yes,
and so on.
yeah.
And that's what I thought I would be doing. I didn't know.
Surprise! Surprise! Surprise!
And
for you.
so he hands me this bikini, and he shows me this picture. It's a white fringe bikini.
Yes.
And he shows me the picture in the Fredericks of Hollywood catalog. And he says, "That's what you're going to look like." And I'm thinking,
What's my mother gonna say?
no, I wasn't. I didn't think about parents. All I could think was, boy, is he going to be disappointed. But I was hired like that. My first audition was to Drums a Go-Go.
So do you think because
Sandy
you have a
Nelson.
good height, you have a great figure, so that all kind of helped it all, right? That kind of
Yeah, and
you know,
energy
and energy and personality and
it helped a
smile.
whole lot that the people clapped when I was auditioning.
They clapped when you were auditioning.
Yes,
Wow, that was
auditioned
cool.
in front of a live audience. Oh, yeah.
So this was your first entree into the burlesque
Yes.
arena.
It was in Arizona at that time. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't have burlesque like where you couldn't take anything off then.
No.
And then I made all my steps incrementally, very small. They went from the two-piece fringe bikini
Yes.
to the bikini bottoms and a net bra with pasties. Now, you may not know what pasties are, but I'm going to show you because you're
I
going
actually
to
do
get.
know what pasties are. I've never worn them, but
This is going to be your first pair, and this pair.
That's right. I've never
this
had.
set of pasties.
I've never had pasties.
These
Now I've got to think
were-
who I'm going to wear them for.
These were a gift to me from Rusty Blaze out of. Make sure I got her name right because it's Canberra, Australia. I emceed their contest, Rusty Blaze. And so this is your gift.
Oh, look at this. I just love it. And I put these on either side of my cheeks, right? Is that where they go?
Actually, you can put them, and now they're calling them assholes, and they're wearing them on their butt cheeks.
Oh, I could have these on my butts.
Yes.
I can have them on my boobs.
Yes.
This should be quite fun,
And there's
wouldn't
a little piece in here that tells you about
look, they've got stickers too. Look, you take this tape off.
That isn't, really and truly, if you were actually going to be using tassels. I used to twirl tassels when I first started.
Oh, that's right, you have to twirl these, don't you?
Yes, everybody
I
had
can't
a
even do
gimmick.
it by hand, never mind body.
Everybody had a gimmick.
Forget that.
And so I twirled tassels for a couple of years, but it really, really, believe it or not, it really hurts. It hurts your.
So these are my first.
That's your set.
I love presents. So this is my second present. One was a poster I got from a guy being a.
This is your second gift.
Oh, I'm getting all these gifts.
This is my autobiography. So this tells you.
The lady is a stripper. I like this, Dusty Summers.
And I wrote that back in 2005.
Amazing. How long did it take you to write this? Was it your first book?
Yes, that was the first book. Well, no, my first book was How to Be a Stripper. And I wrote that probably in the 70s when I was working for Vegas Visitor. And people used to buy it and give it to college graduates, to make sure they'd know how to make a living when they got out. If they couldn't drive a taxi cab, they could take their clothes off. They got one or the other.
Yes.
And this one isn't a gift. I just brought it because she told me to. I know that she gave you one.
I have one
week.
of these. Yes, I have this, and this is by Dusty Summers.
And
too.
this is a
Magical
collection.
World of Burlesque, and that's that book again.
That's a collection of every, almost every column I wrote for Vegas Visitor here in Las Vegas.
So you're
and
a
other
writer.
places.
You're a big writer as well.
Yeah.
So when you first wore this fringy bikini and everything else, and then after that you were doing that for some time. Did you now have to start stripping?
Yes. And
how did you feel about that? Because you're very used to the stage. Do you sing?
Not very well.
So she's like I am, a bathroom singer.
I'm not going to hurt you.
A bathroom singer. Keep
Yeah.
it to the bathroom. So you went out there because you're used to dancing, you're used to performing, but with skinty items on.
Yes.
So now you had to skinty these things off.
I was there. They were trying. There's always that phrase, "We're going to bring back old time burlesque." So this would have been about 1966. They're going to bring back old time burlesque in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
And my foster mother, I lived in a foster home. She knew this woman named Chris Starr, who was an old time stripper back in probably the 30s, and she was part of this show. And I was invited along with three other girls because the ones that they had already hired weren't coming along fast enough. They were well-trained dancers, but
they didn't know how to do what you knew how to do.
They were more concerned with the count of 8 and everybody
1, 2,
being
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. They didn't have the individualized.
How to move or
one day I might do my bump over there, but tomorrow there's somebody sitting over here.
Oh, they were systematic.
Yes, they weren't ad-libbing.
They didn't have the
ad-lib movements. I think maybe you call it. I'm not sure that's really a phrase.
I don't know either, but that's like my show. I don't pre-interview anybody. She knows that. I don't pre-interview. I never have. I don't like to pre-interview because I like it off the cuff. I like it to be what it is.
When I did interviews for my book. I even interviewed Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, and I interviewed them not really knowing a whole lot about
them. Yeah.
But it was a way I could ask them what I thought everybody else would like to know, and what I wanted to know.
What do you want to know?
It's pretty much what everybody else wanted to know. So it kind of worked out.
So
really.
transitioning from clothes on and clothes off, was that hard for you?
Yes, because what made it difficult was Phoenix had very, very strict laws. So we went from the bikinis to the net bra and pasties, and then I went from that down to Tucson, where I, for whatever reason, maybe because I was from the big city of Phoenix back then, I was suddenly a big star on the radio, and I used the name Dusty because my choreographer said, we can't use names like Donna and Ruth and Jane, and she went down the line and named us all.
You can't, yeah.
Yeah, she
Then
said,
you got Dusty.
she said, you look like a Dusty. There was a popular
It's a
song
great
out
name.
then.
That's a great name.
And then a club owner said I had to have a second name, and I had from the time of my audition in the afternoon to get to work to come up with another name. And Summers was the best I could come up with that fast. So and it worked.
It worked. Dusty Summers.
And it's
perfect
always
name.
been.
And you look like a Dusty Summers, and you act like a Dusty Summers.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, and it works, and it's it's. I try to tell girls nowadays, and I would tell anybody, if you're going to pick a show name, pick one you can live with, because they're going to be hollering your name across.
Yeah.
And some of the girls, there was a movie, I think it was an Agent 007 movie, and one of the characters was called Pussy Galore. Well, you can't put that in the newspaper. And
Well, no,
you
but
don't
when
want to
in
be
England,
called.
no, in England it's a cat.
Yeah, but here,
But in America, it's not.
well, it could be, and but
But in
the
England,
girl
it's
had to
definitely a cat.
she had to change her name,
Yeah,
and so I tell people, if you're gonna make yourself up a name, make
Then
that up
make
when you
something
don't mind being called
called
in the
that
middle
name.
of Denny's or
Anyway,
Peppermill
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So
That's a
yeah,
That's a good idea. I never really
Yeah.
thought of that. So, when did you stop doing your performances? When did you decide that this is the time? I'm not going to say to retire, because I don't think you've retired at all, but of dancing.
I went into the nightclub business in Texas. I had a couple of clubs there, a burlesque club called Dusty's West in San Angelo, Texas, and Dusty's West in Grand Prairie,
You had
Texas.
two of them.
Yes, and I emceed the shows. I still did my show, and I had the dancers. And then we moved here in '91, and I decided, I'm getting up there. So
We
I
all do.
decided I want to do something different. I like to know how to do as many things as possible. I learned how to type, so,
So you could become a secretary.
you can break a leg,
Yeah.
you can still type.
Yes, that's right.
And,
then you can write your books.
Yes. But I actually did that in the last few years. But then I decided this thing about becoming a dealer. I was tired of the bar business. To be in the bar business and be behind the bar and put up with a drunk, you kind of have to be a
wouldn't-
drunk.
Yeah.
And I found I was
Not.
being a drunk, and I didn't like it.
Oh, really? Oh, so
I
you
need it.
you were drinking.
I was drinking in order to be able to tolerate.
What they were doing. Takes one to know one, actually. So you get to know each other.
And I think when I
So you
started
gave
dealing,
all-
I was
Now,
40-something.
dealing, you mean the cards?
Dealing
in the
blackjack?
casino. Dealing blackjack. Wow.
And they told me that was too old to start. And I guess I don't listen well, but I went ahead and did it anyway, and I wound up at Circus Circus, and I learned how to deal blackjack, roulette, and then
So you
In
know,
order to
you
be
know
a
how to. So
supervisor-
you know how to be a winner at blackjack. Hang on. We've got to have
I know not to play. I know not to play.
I know not to play. Because
But if-
well, how come the favor is always in the house and there's just one of them?
Because I want to make money.
It's a good answer.
They changed the rules in the middle of a shift, in the middle of a game of blackjack, where it used to pay 3 to 2 on blackjack. And they decided they were only going to pay 6 to 5, and that's less money. And so I told the players, and they said, "Well, why are they doing that?" I said, "Well," and they told
want
me.
to make more money.
Management said, "Tell them anything you want." So I did. I said, "Because they want to make more money," and nobody left the table. They just kept playing.
Yeah, because I mean, why is it so many people in the entire world? We all love to gamble. What's in this blood of ours?
We love to gamble.
Do we like to win or do we like to gamble? Is it? Are we testing ourselves?
I don't know, because there's some cultures, the Chinese culture, for instance,
They love to gamble.
They're more into gambling than we are, and
Yes.
we're into it.
Well, they
And I-
smoke more and they gamble more and they live.
I'm not sure what all they do more, but they do a whole. maybe we don't really want to know, but they told me to be a supervisor, because at that time, this would have been in the '90s. there were very few female supervisors in the pits, very few. And I worked with one named
It's always
Joanne.
been a man's game.
It was a man's world, and the way they kept women out of it is in order to, at Circus Circus to be a supervisor.
Well, that's why they have the burlesque shows.
You
That's why
had
they have
to
all
deal
these shows.
craps. And craps is a big long table.
Oh, I know
I'm
all
short.
about craps. My husband played craps for years.
Well, I'm short. I had to stand on a step in order to reach
yeah, they have
over
these
to.
little stools. They
Yeah.
also have those little stools in movies to make the person look taller than the person next to them.
I had to stand on the stool so I could reach over there to pay the bets. But Joanne said, she tells me, don't let them stop you. She said, I didn't let them stop me. She said, no one said you had to be good at it. You just have to be able to
You
do
have
it.
to do it. And that's
So
what you
I did. And
So
became.
this is going through your life history and what you did and how she graduated from 18 years old as having clothes on, and then as she graduated went up, and then she started to strip, and she kind of sort of realized that, I got to change my career a little bit. And you've been through the
that's
whole
what
thing.
I thought. But I
Probably didn't have to.
In
Would you
2006
go out there right now and do it?
do what?
Become a burlesque dancer?
Oh yeah, I can. I'm still doing it.
You're still doing
yeah.
it. Where are you performing?
I worked. I was the Burlesque Star, probably the oldest burlesque stripper on the strip when I was in Vegas Nocturne in 2014.
It's only a few years ago.
I played like a Carol Burnett character with the laundry
Yeah.
clothes on,
Yes.
and then at the end I would take off the cleaning smock, and I had a fully rhinestone sparkly gown, and I did my burlesque and my magic and the shimmy. And when I got the role, I asked him, one of the producers said, do you have any questions? And I said, yeah, I do. I said, why do you want somebody my age doing this? He said, because you are your age and you can still do this.
Isn't that amazing?
So now I get bookings like
So you get
those Pacey's are from Canberra. That's I emceed their show there. I didn't strip, but
So you still strip
yeah,
in your way of stripping,
yeah.
which is not completely stripping.
No, I don't.
Not completely.
Yeah,
So we don't
it's the tease.
Yes.
The-
Well, you are definitely a tease.
The
I mean, come
real,
on. Amazing.
The burlesque that I used to engage in, the reason I stopped, and the reason you'll hear from many people my age why we took a step back, is because they were beginning to request more, I don't know what the word would be,
Showing more of the body.
more explicit.
A little bit more
And
X-rated.
it was no longer the tease, it was the shock value.
Yes. And you didn't want
we
to do
weren't-
that.
No, I'm not comfortable with shock value.
You know, my one thing about you, Dusty, you've always
but
done
the
what you want
magic helped. I could cover things up.
with the magic.
Yes.
That's
See
our
that?
forte.
I could hold birds in front of
Anyway you want.
anything I didn't want
I
them
love
looking
it.
at. That worked quite
cool.
well.
If anybody wants to book Will, where can they find you? Where can they...
If anybody wants one of the books, my advice is to go on Amazon and
Amazon.
order, because the
And that's both books. That's also this book.
the
And-
Magical World of Burlesque
And this one as
and
well.
The Lady is a Stripper
Yeah.
are both on Amazon, and there is a fictional book called The Golden G-String that I wrote. That's
Sounds
also
exciting,
on
doesn't
there.
it?
So there's 3 different books
Three different
on
books that
Amazon.
you have out there.
Yes.
And where can they reach you if you want to do emceeing or you want to be booked for a show? Where can they reach you?
They can. You can look on
Just
Facebook,
Just look up Dusty Summers, that's
YouTube.
all. YouTube, Dusty Summers, and that's about it.
Facebook, YouTube. You can. If you look up Dusty Summers, my name comes up.
Everywhere.
I can't get away with anything.
No. Oh, that's telling a story, isn't it?
I haven't tried to get away with anything lately, but no.
But you never know. You
Can't
never
get
know.
away with a thing.
Unfortunately, we have to close out on the interview, which has been amazing. The original of the burlesque, which was, at one time that's what it was. It was very big. It's not so big now. Maybe it will come back. I don't know.
They're trying to have the newbie Neo Burlesque,
Newbie
but
burlesque.
many times they're more into making a political statement than they are
Let's
in.
leave politics out of everything. And
Than they are
Let's
in.
just have a life.
The tease and the entertainment was never meant to influence anybody in anything other than a smile.
That's all you wanted. Well,
Yeah, still
Dusty,
do.
you've been amazing. Thank you for coming on my
And
show.
thank you very much for
coming
having
on
me.
The
And,
red couch has had many seats here now. This is our 5th year, actually November. This is where we celebrate being down here at the Peppermill for
How long?
5 years we've been down
5
here.
years.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And, the Peppermill has sponsored us for 5 years, and also I want to thank, obviously my producer Steve, and also my talent director. I want to thank her, Lynn, for putting this all together, keeping it together. But don't forget one thing. Don't forget to subscribe Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We'll be right back with our next guest. Thank you. If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up, and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.